Ooh, I've got really good news, guys! As in this episode, we finally managed to reach the next rank, expert rank, after doing a total of 50 battles and gaining close to 200 elos, man! Oh my god, I can't believe it, but it was just an insane gain for me, and I'm really happy to show you guys all the battles for today, as I have a total of 9 to show you guys. Alright, so hi to all of you guys! So in the last episode, remember I reached 2581 elo, and to gain close to 200 elo to reach the next rank in 2 days is actually quite remarkable, as I'll show you guys with the very first battle against John Garamendi. Alright, so I'm using my same team, my Medicham, Swampert and Toxapex team, and I would like to show you guys some of the crazy battles that I had to endure in order to actually rank up that much. And I must say that I'm really happy that I'm able to finally reach expert rank, my first time ever hitting expert rank without, I guess, the season 10, that kind of free rank given to us. Alright, so that's not the only happy news that I'd like to share with you guys today. For those of you who are wondering if I'm going to Singapore with Princess or not, I can finally tell you guys that yes, we are going to Singapore. In fact, we have already booked our flights and booked everything to head back to Singapore on the 15th of November. However, we were not 100% sure due to Princess's travel visa issues, not to Singapore but to another country, which I'll tell you guys more about after our Singapore trip. So finally, the embassy called her today and saying that it has been approved, but we still have to fly to Manila to submit the documents in order to get the physical visa document, I guess, in our hands next week. So that's what we were planning to do, and hopefully we can do that before our trip to Singapore. But yeah, we will be going to Singapore for the Safari Zone. Hopefully I'll be able to see some of you guys there. Alright, so anyway, back to this battle though. You guys can see that the Ninetales came out and brought out my Toxapex handle Fairy type Pokemon very easily. Now she brought in a Warren, which then I'll use my Sludge Wave, and Warren will have to use an Earthquake to knock us out, and Icicle Spear wouldn't be enough, but we have 2 shields left, man. Might as well just save it for Medicham anyway, since the last Pokemon is Deoxys. Icicle Spear is not going to be enough to knock us out. We're going to bring in Medicham. Medicham is just going to farm down Warren. Hopefully it does, but we're going to have to shield up every single Icicle Spear that comes in. We're going to use a Psychic right now. Unfortunately, my opponent switched into Deoxys, which then it will resist the Psychic, but still it will be farm down range right now. We will then have to invest the very last shield on my Medicham, otherwise whatever moves that comes in will knock us out. So going with that, we're going to not be able to reach to the Psychic in time because the Warren is just 2 Powder Snows away from getting to his Icicle Spear. We're going to go with Ice Punch. We will do double resisted damage, but still that a little bit of chip damage does help a lot, as you guys will see later on. Alright, our Medicham is out, Toxapex is in, and we are able to take it out with our Poison Jets. Look at the health of my Toxapex, man. Luckily it resists the Powder Snow, and our Poison Jet is doing neutral damage. So right, to the next opponent, baby. Himurok. Alright. Yeah, man. Alright, so against Umbreon, switching into Lantern. So Lantern, like I said, is kind of a big threat against my team. It handles all 3 of my Pokemon really well. But since I have Medicham, we'll just go with Psychic all the way. Thunderbolt is going to take out a lot of our health. Psychic will also do a lot of damage. Alright, but he decided to shield that up, which is not good for us. We then probably need to invest a shield. Are we going to shield? No, we are not. So we're going to bring in, I believe, Swampert. Alright, Swampert right now, it will be able to handle the Lantern, although Surf will also do neutral damage to us. I'm going to let this go through, saving the shield for the next 2 other Pokemon, although we know that his first Pokemon is Umbreon already. That doesn't really need shield to, for us to actually handle the charge moves. Alright, so Earthquake is going to knock out the Lantern. Umbreon is going to be brought back in. We are going to just go with Hydro Spams. Alright, first Hydro Cannon is going to come in, and this will do a decent amount of damage to Umbreon. Umbreon is just very tanky, so hence we are going to take a very long time to knock out this EV Evolution, I guess. Alright, Evolution. So let's go ahead to the next Hydro Cannon. This will do a decent amount of damage to the Umbreon. Alright, so as I'm doing all these battles, this was done a day before, and I normally, like I said, play my battles after 12 a.m. I was just fresh and I didn't want to feel too tired to actually play it. So I actually came up with a strategy that after playing 1 or 2 sets, if I feel really tired, I'll just stand up, go to the restroom, take a break, and then after that I'll continue my battles again. But if I didn't feel like playing anymore, I'll just stop playing. That strategy kind of worked, especially the one that I played the battles today after 12 a.m. I played really well because of that. I guess I took a short break and then eventually I was able to have really good matchup. So I did hear from people though that it's quicker to get from veteran to expert than ace to veteran. So for those of you who are struggling to get even up to veteran from ace, from 2000 up to 2500, don't give up, because once you reach your veteran, to reach up to expert, I mean, I have experienced it myself, to reach expert is kind of easier, though it feels a bit daunting. But that 250 points versus 500 points is a very huge difference. I feel having another ranking at 2250 would be better. But Niantic just decided to make it that it's difference of 500 and difference of 250 and 250 to get up to expert then legend. So anyway, we managed to take out the Escavalier. Sorry, I didn't comment it on the battle, but basically we took out the Escavalier and we are left with our Medicham. We were able to survive that and we managed to score a win. So alright, into the next battle, our very first opponent with Shadow Venusaur. It's very rare for someone to use a Shadow Venusaur. Most people will use a Venusaur. I guess it's quite hard to obtain it because you still have to remove away frustration. Then after that, either Elite, Charge TM to get a Frenzy Plant move, or Evolve during the Community Day Classic, which probably most people didn't prepare a Shadow Bulbasaur for it. Alright. So that's the thing about having a Shadow Pokemon with Community Day moves. It's very tedious to get. Alright, but you guys can see how powerful it is. For me, I even would shield up against a Shadow Venusaur because I know it will knock our Medicham out, but without the Shadow, it will not be able to knock us out, and we can actually get to 2 Ice Punches if we use 1 shield. Alright, so let's go ahead to see that our Toxapex is going to come in. He brought in a Frostlass, but Frostlass without any shield doesn't fare very well against, I guess, most of the Pokemon out there. But Shadow Ball is going to do neutral damage to us. We're going to use Brine again. So you guys can see we are doing a relatively an equal amount of damage to each other. But there are some situations where Frostlass is being used as the lead against my Medicham. And it was a very tough, I guess, a push for me to actually climb up to be able to win some of those battles. But I'll show you guys one of it later on against someone who's using Frostlass. Alright. So Frostlass goes down, we have energy, but I'm going to try and switch into Medicham ASAP. Alright, I'm going to quickly switch into that because I thought he's going to bring in the Venusaur, and the Venusaur actually has energy for Frenzy Plant to knock us out, so I was worried about that, but I didn't count properly. I think the Venusaur is just one Vine Whip away from hitting the Frenzy Plant, so I kind of shouldn't have done that. Alright, but it's okay, since it is also Galarian Stunfisk, my Medicham can also handle that. We got knocked out by the Earthquake, but it's okay. We got double Hydro Cannons ready, which is what we need. Fire off the first one against the Galarian Stunfisk and the second one on the Venusaur, and hopefully we can score a win. Hopefully it gets knocked out also, because Venusaur is very tanky, but with the Shadow Form it suffers 17% more damage and it got knocked out totally. Alright, so we're going to go into the next battle right now. Alright, sometimes there's a black screen over there because of the loading time, against an expert player already. So he managed to reach expert and his ratings actually went down. For me, I've not hit expert yet in this particular battle, as you guys can see, but against Altaria. So whenever we fight against Altaria, I'm like, okay, so we're gonna go with Ice Punch spam, but I would not try and catch the second Sky attack on my Toxapex, since we do not have the shield up against that. But if we were to bring in Swampert, of course Swampert will suffer even more damage. Alright, so we're going to go with the second Ice Punch now, and we have to do a total of 15 counters before we switch into Toxapex. So 1, 2, switching that. Alright, so the Sky attack comes in, that is 30 turns. 30 turns equals to 2 Sky attacks for the Altaria, with Dragon Breath being used. Alright, so let's go ahead to farm down the Altaria totally. So we're even on shields, but my Toxapex is left with half health, but it's totally fine. We still got a half health Medicham anyways. So we brought in a Medicham, we're gonna go with Sludge Wave. Sludge Wave will do a good amount of neutral damage to the Medicham, almost taking a half health from the Medicham. And we're just gonna farm as much as we can, trying to get the Brine. Alright, Charge Move is gonna come in, it's gonna be Psychic, that will knock us out. So we're gonna have to shield up against that. I was thinking if I want to get to a Sludge Wave or a Brine. Brine will be enough to knock out the Medicham, right? So hence I went with that. But my opponent decided to shield, but it's okay. We brought in Medicham right now, saving the Toxic Pack, Toxic Packs for the last Pokemon in case, and it is Azumarill, which is good. Azumarill is going to be super duper weak against Toxic Packs. It's going to use his charge move right now. It's going to be Ice Beam, but it's totally fine. I can just let it go through, bring in Toxic Packs, and farm down the Azumarill. Alright, so that's what we're going to do. We are both switch locked anyway, so you can do whatever you want. You can't take out my Toxic Packs. Alright, so cool. We're just gonna farm up a little bit more energy before we fire off a charge move to knock out the Azumarill. Alright, a little bit more. Alright, Sludge Wave, here we go. I don't think Brine will be enough to knock out the Azumarill. Initially, I did try using it, but the Brine damage on Azumarill is just super duper pathetic. Alright, we're gonna get to the last Brine, the move that we need to knock out the Medicham, and that's gonna be GG, well played. I believe even if if he's able to knock out my Toxic Packs, he would be able to use a Psychic, then an Ice Punch on my Medicham, and I probably would have lost that one. Yeah, I think. Alright, so anyway, now we have a very bad lead against Ninetales with Charm. We brought in Toxic Packs immediately, but he brought in Trevenant, and I'm like, okay, it's kind of an okay situation for us. We're going to go with Sludge Wave. Sludge Wave will do a lot of damage to Trevenant, but he is going to shield up against this, and then his turn, let's see what's he going to use. Is he going to use Seed Bomb or is he going to use Shadow Ball? Most people use Shadow Ball against the Toxic Pack, so I've decided to shield up against that also. Worried that it will knock us out, especially he's able to Shadow Claw us down once our health goes down by the Shadow Ball. We're going to use another shield by Seed Bomb right now. He decided to bait us, but it's totally fine. We're going to go with Brine. Brine would be enough, almost enough to knock out the Trevenant already. Alright, it will be resisted though, but with the Poison Jets coming in, it will be enough, but unfortunately we ain't able to get to a second Brine. So he's going to knock us out with the Shadow Ball. We're going to then bring in, or almost knock us out. I thought he knocked us out actually. Excuse me, sorry. And then the Brine will knock out the Trevenant. It's going to bring in the Ninetales. Ninetales suffered 1 Poison Jet damage. We're going to bring in Swampert. Medicham wouldn't be a good choice against the Charm user, obviously. Alright, so we're going to try and get to Earthquake, because 2 Hydro Cannons will then be enough to knock out the Ninetales, but Earthquake will do more damage since I'm going to be I'm going to be taken out by 1 Charm anyway. We're going to bring in Medicham, knock out that Ninetales without getting hit by a Charm at all, and his last Pokemon, I guess, is probably Bastiodon. Alright, so we're going to go into the next opponent, next battle right now, and that's going to be a Swampert lead. Alright, so Swampert though, switching into Altaria right now. Immediately, I'm not going to switch out at all, but I'm going to switch out later to catch this Sky Attack as usual with my Toxic Packs, but we're going to go with our very first Ice Punch first. Alright, it lands, and then we're going to switch into Toxic Packs to catch the Sky Attack. Even if I did not fire off the second Ice Punch, is totally fine, because with this amount of health that the Altaria is left with, I can farm it down even more and get more energy out of it. Alright, so you can do whatever you want. Sky Attack, it's okay, it's totally fine. Toxic Pack is still gonna survive that. Better than getting hit by 2 Sky Attacks on my Medicham. Alright, brought in Swampert. We're gonna have to use our very first charge move, Brine. Let's see if our opponent's gonna use a Hydro Cannon to knock us out or not. No, we're gonna go with a second Brine. Very happy to do that. And the Swampert is going to be down to yellow health already. Awesome. We're going to get farmed down. He has almost 2 Hydro Cannons ready, I believe. So now he has 2 Hydro Cannons ready after doing the next Mud Shot. We're going to bring in the Medicham. Medicham is going to then there's a power up punch. Just counter down power up punch. Imagine power up punch as a fast move. Oh my god. Imagine power up punch. 4 counters will actually become 100% boosted. Alright, so his next Pokemon is actually Mandibuzz, and Mandibuzz is quite threatening against my team because I don't have anything to do super effective damage to it other than my Ice Punch. Alright, so we're going to shoot up against the Area Ace, and hopefully we can do some good damage. We're going to do 1 counter, 1 Ice Punch, 1 counter, 1 Ice Punch. Alright, so looking pretty alright, but he actually shielded up against my 1 Ice Punch. He's still left with 1 shield, so that's the worrying thing. Alright, so not to worry, we still have our Swampert at the back. Alright, Foul Play is going to do a good amount of neutral damage. We're going to then use our Hydro Cannon after doing 1 more Mud Shot. Let's see if our opponent shields this or not. And he does shield this. Oh my god, he's saving the shields for his Mandibuzz. I was like quite confused. You would probably save your shields for something that is more glassy, example like Altaria, right? But in this instance, he actually saved up against that. We're going to farm up a bit more energy to actually try and fire off a Hydro Cannon on the Mandibuzz also. So alright, let's see if the Mandibuzz is able to survive this Hydro Cannon. The problem is I'm not using a Shadow Swampert. So with that, I am not able to knock it out. We're going to bring in Medicham to try and see if we can do some damage to it. If that counter, the last counter actually landed, we probably would have been good. Unfortunately, we are not able to take it out and we lost this one totally. It's just super duper close, but those are some of the battles that I had to go through. Alright, so against another opponent who's already reached expert rank though, and he's starting with Trevenant. So Trevenant wise, with my Medicham, it's not good for us, but we still have Ice Punch to handle the situation. We're gonna build up to almost a Psychic and then fire off an Ice Punch. Let's see if our opponent is gonna shield this or not. He does shield this, awesome. Alright, we're gonna just continue again with another Ice Punch. Hopefully we are not gonna shield this at all, because in this health, with this health that I have on my Medicham, most people will just use a Seed Bomb, not wanting to waste their energy for a Shadow Ball, and I can fire off a second Ice Punch. So we're going to go in with Toxic Pex, but then this move is probably going to be Shadow Ball. I was thinking if I want to save the shield or not. I'm going to save the shield for now. Alright, eventually I probably will have to use a second one if I want to survive. Alright, so we're going to let this go through again. It's totally fine. We're going to save the double shields for Swampert. Alright, maybe. But we're gonna see that the next Pokemon is an Altaria. When I saw Altaria, I'm like, oh my god, my Swampert ain't gonna survive well against the Altaria, man. But the Sludge Wave went through, which is awesome. Alright, we're gonna bring in the Swampert right now, and let's see how we're gonna handle this, man. Let's just hope his last Pokemon is like a Bastiodon or something that's weak to Swampert totally. Alright, so Lantern is kind of okay also, since we have built up energy for 1.5 Earthquakes already. The first Earthquake landed and he wasn't able to even use a charge move at all. So now with 2 shields left on my Swampert, we should be in a very, very good position already. But then, don't forget, the Altaria actually did a lot of fast moves, a lot of Dragon Breath, so means it has charged up a lot of energy. So knowing that, I know I have to pull a switch into my Toxic Pex to try and catch a Sky attack. So as you guys can see, look at the switch on over there on the right. Alright, I actually did tap already. I tapped on the Toxic Pex just as he tapped on his Sky attack. I'm like, oh my god. So now I have to redo it. I thought his energy wasn't enough for a second Sky attack, and I didn't tap the Toxic Pex in time to switch into that. And I know that, oh my god, it's GG already. That was the only win condition that I had. I had to sacrifice my Toxic Pex for a Sky attack, and then I would have won that. That was the only win con. Alright, so anyway, against the next battle, and this is against someone who is using a Victory Bell. Shadow Victory Bell to be exact. A lot of people are using this. I feel like a lot of people are using this paired with Bastiodon. So knowing that they would have this, well, knowing that he has a Bastiodon at the back, my Swampert is going to go to town. However, there was one battle that I did. I made a mistake. I actually did not fire off my charge move in time. I actually tried to use an Earthquake, but I got knocked out, which I'll explain to you guys in a couple of seconds after we get taken out over here. Bring in Toxic Pex. Toxic Pex will definitely have to shield up against the Leaf Blade right now. Alright, we're going to shield up against this. We are both out of shields already. That's how quick it is. Alright, we're going to farm down the Victory Bell. He's going to bring in the Bastiodon. Alright, and we're going to pull a switch into Swampert. Swampert then will be met with another third Pokemon. Some people use a different Pokemon for the third Pokemon, but it's usually Victory Bell paired with Bastiodon. So Mew is also fine, so since we can actually do 2 Hydro Cannons to knock out the Mew totally. Alright, so now the situation that we are in, alright, if we were to be greedy and try to get the Earthquake to try and knock out the Bastiodon 1-hit KO, the Bastiodon will be able to get to its charge move, its Stone Edge in time to knock us out, which happened to me in one of the battles, and I lost that one totally. But then eventually I learned my lesson, and that when I encounter people with Victory Bell and the Bastiodon, I kind of know how to handle it already. So yep, he's gonna go ahead to use a Flamethrower or whatever to knock us out, and the next Pokemon, the Toxic Pex, will have an easier time against the Bastiodon, because if I did not fire off any charge move on the Bastiodon at all with my Swampert, well, the Bastiodon will be able to beat my Toxic Pex. So we're going to go with a second Brine. This will not be enough to knock out the Bastiodon yet, but even if we're going to get hit by a Stone Edge, it's totally fine. We can still survive, and we can just use the Poison Jabs to farm down the Bastiodon despite it being triple resistant. Alright, 1 more hit, 2 more hits, and let's go. Alright, so that was that, man. I managed to overcome this team finally after realizing how to actually handle it. Alright, against the next opponent, Stanley, and he's leading with Frostlass. So this is the team that I kind of had an issue with. Eventually I figured out how to handle this. So the way to handle this is you have to bait. You have to bait with Ice Punch. If you do not bait with Ice Punch against the Frostlass with your Medicham, you will not be able to win from what I've experienced so far. Alright, so most people will shoot up against this thinking it is a Psychic, but you have to build up to Psychic first, doing 8 counters to get to Psychic before you fire off the Ice Punch. Alright, we're going to shoot up against the next Shadow Ball or Avalanche, whichever that comes in you would have to shoot because both of them require the same amount of energy to get to anyways. Alright. So we're going to go with Ice Punch, and then now we're going to pull a switch into Swampert. So after pulling a switch into Swampert, we can try to get to Hydro Cannon. Unfortunately, we ain't able to, but if we are able to get to Hydro Cannon and fire it off onto the Frostlass, it will knock out the Frostlass. But he brought in an Azumarill. We're going to go with Earthquake. If we actually have Sludge Wave, it'll be awesome, but you guys know I already have a Toxic Pack. No way I'm going to have a Poison type charge move on my Swampert already. So we're going to use Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon will do a good amount of resisted damage to the Azumarill, and that will be enough for my Swampert. We're going to bring in Toxic Packs with full health to farm down the Azumarill totally. At first, after firing off the Hydro Cannon, I was thinking to myself, should I have even fired off the Hydro Cannon or just let the Azumarill have more health for my Toxic Packs to farm it down? I think in this situation, it kind of worked out to my favor, as you guys will see later on. Alright, so going with the Brine is going to do a super effective damage to the Galarian Stunfisk. We're going to bring in a Medicham, but Medicham is met with Frostlass again. The Frostlass has used its energy on my Swampert with the Shadow Ball used, so hence we have Psychic ready to knock it out totally, and now we have just the Galarian Stunfisk against my Medicham. When I looked at this situation, I'm like, okay, it's very easy to win, right? We can just counter it down, just Ice Punch so slowly. Even if we get knocked out by an Earthquake, well, one Brine from the Toxic Packs will be enough to take it out, and then furthermore, you know, we can survive one Earthquake from a Galarian Stunfisk. So yeah, that is how to actually beat this Frostlass team, but of course not everyone would use the same Pokemon as a second and third Pokemon using a Frostlass. So far, after reaching to 2600 ELO and above, I see a lot of people leading with Frostlass, and I feel that it's a very good team. And yep, after doing all those battles, I managed to go up to 2756 ELO. I'm very happy to have been able to reach this rank, and I've also gone past 10,000 battles, 10,010 battles already. So yeah, definitely one of the best gains that I've gained in 2 days, better than gaining weight. Although I've also been gaining weight, eating a lot, I need to lose some also. Alright, hopefully I do not lose some ELO also. Hopefully in the next few days, I can actually push up further, especially when the Miltank Go Battle League Day is starting in 2 days time after the Dratini Community Day Classic Day. So hopefully we can actually push even higher and maybe even reach Legend on that video itself. Alright, so if you guys enjoyed this video, definitely remember to hit the like button. It'll be appreciated. Thank you very much. And also consider to subscribe for daily Pokemon Go videos and also Go Battle League videos, as I'm striving for 600,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It'll be really helpful for me, from you guys to actually do that for me also. Alright, and I'll see you guys in the next episode in the next video. Alright, goodbye. Not to my elos.